Hare Krishna. We can help the unable but not the unwilling. Suppose a person is trying to start one's car and the car doesn't start. Then some other familiar passers-by or some familiar people, helpful people, they may come and they may push the car. They push the car to get it to move. And usually by the pushing from outside and the person is trying to maneuver from inside, the car starts off. Now suppose, so initially the person was unable to start the car, but then the car starts off with the cooperative endeavor. But suppose the car is not starting and people from outside are pushing, but inside this person who is driving just goes to sleep. Now, or worse still, this person inside is pressing the brake. Then people will say, hey, why should we waste our energy and time in pushing when this person doesn't want to drive? So the person who is unable to drive can be helped, but the person who is unwilling to drive, that person cannot be helped. Similarly, we can compare life to a journey, and in this life journey, actually the body and the circumstance we are in, that is like our vehicle. Krishna talks about how in 18.61 he says, Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddeshe arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. So he says the Supreme Lord is guiding the wandering of all living beings. The important point for us in this verse is that we are all situated on a machine made of nature. So machine made of material nature. So we are in this bodily car, and sometimes we may be caught in a situation where we are just not able to move. Sometimes we may introduce people to some spiritual, something spiritual, and they may be interested in practicing. They may be interested in studying the Bhagavad Gita, coming for spiritual programs, practicing meditation, but somehow their schedules are so busy, their circumstances, their relatives, their situation may be such that they find it very difficult to come. Then we may have to sit with them, talk with them, encourage them, guide them, maybe juggle their schedule, maybe help them get some other things done. And in that way we can facilitate them to come closer to Krishna, to grow spiritually. That is like a person, like the people pushing the car from behind when it is not starting. But sometimes we may find that some people are just not interested. No matter how many reminders we give them, no matter how many requests we make, they just find some reason and they don't come. And if repeatedly we are rebuffed, if our requests are turned a deaf ear towards, then we should know that it is not a failure on our part to not be able to help them. It is just as nobody, no matter how strong the person outside in a car may be, they can't actually make a car to start if the person inside is not cooperating. So similarly, every person is an individual, and that means that they have that individual free will and we can't force them. We can help them, we can inspire them, we can even push them a little bit, but we can't force them. And Krishna himself demonstrates this in the same Gita section, 2 verses later, when he states in 18.63, Vimrishaita dasheshena yathechasi tatha kuru. That in this way Arjuna deliberate on what I have said, and yatha ichchasi tatha kuru, as is your desire you act. So even Krishna is acknowledging that he cannot force Arjuna to do anything. It is for Arjuna to choose and act. So if God cannot force, then who are we to force? So when somebody is not ready to, somebody is unwilling to take to spirituality, at that time we shouldn't see that as a personal failure, especially if that person is our relative, our child, our spouse. We may be very invested in that person, and then we may take their not taking to spirituality as a failure, but we don't have to do that. We should see that they are souls and at this stage they are not willing. So the only way we can help them in their spiritual evolution is not by pushing them, but by ending that interaction, that discussion on a cordial note, offering them our good wishes and then offering them our prayers from a distance. And Krishna is in their heart, Krishna is guiding them, and Krishna will bring them to him eventually. We shouldn't alienate them by forcing them or condemning ourselves because they are not taking up, or condemning them because they are not taking up. They may just not be ready right now. So we can't help the unwilling. So when they will, that is up to them. It is between them and Krishna. And rather than we imposing ourselves, we can just keep the door to Krishna open for them. And whenever they want, they will walk and come to Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna.